Yeah, so I get guys that ask about the circuit boards. These 3 containers hold the ingredients. This is the circuit board. I've got empty ones here. This is what they look like empty. They are black with LowEnd right there. And anyway, yeah, I stuff them. This is what they look like 3/4 of the way. This is what they look like done. And this is what they look like soldered. And people ask me all the time, where are my values? Decades ago, there was they were put on a scope and designed, and then after that, I've changed things so many times over the years that I have no idea. It comes down to ear, because you can have 2 different manufacturers that supposedly have the same frequency points on the mid, yet we all know they sound completely different, because the manufacturers of the little parts and the way they're traced all takes into effect, and even the value of the pots they use. Like EMG uses 25K, some use 100K, we use 50K, but I mean, everything's built differently, so it's kind of hard to say what are the points and expect them to all sound the same with the same points when they don't. It comes down to ear. And obviously pickups change that as well. So different pickups sound different, have different frequency responses, and so forth. Anyway, so this is the LowEnd Pre. I do build the circuit board. I don't buy it from somebody else, and that's that. People ask. Pickups. Kent Armstrong custom builds my pickups. I also use other manufacturers as well, like Nordstrand, Lowell, John Suhr. So, and then there's of course my pickups, which this is one of them. They're encased in an epoxy. They look like a wood cover, ebony, something like that. They can do parallel, which is the standard way I wire them. I can also wire them series, although I really will fight you on it. And then I do them in this, which is the slim. This is a 4-inch or 4.5 inch, sorry. I also have a quad over here. The quad actually consists of 2 of these side by side, which some people's bass might have 2 quads, might have 1 quad and 1 slim, but this is the quad. As you can see, the quad is 2 of those. So you can actually do split coils with it, and it's still stacked, not split single coils, but they're actually like a stacked split coil you can do with it. Or you can have all 4 of them going if you have 2 quads. You can do 60s, 70s, multiple switching configurations, as well as take these individually in series, take these coils together in series, just a ridiculous number of ways. Back to the circuit boards, I do offer something that I've started offering the past couple of years. It's a 2 to 3 band option, which some will start seeing. It adds a switch and the mid pot. And I should probably go in depth on how that varies, because a lot of people get confused with a 2-band and a 3-band EQ. A 2-band and a 3-band are not the same. A 3-band does not give you more control over a 2-band. What a 3-band does is it centers the midpoint. There's also 4-band EQs that people do. They center that frequency when you add that pot. So when it centers that frequency, it no longer floats or shifts with the bass and treble as you boost and cut, like a 2-band does. When you add the 3-band or the 4-band, you're centering that frequency, and that frequency only cut and boost at that point. It no longer floats with the rest of the EQ. So what happens is a lot of guys will have a 3-band or a 4-band, and they always have this ugly part of the mid that they can never figure out where to cut it or boost it, and that's just because that frequency has been centered in that spot. Versus if they went to a 2-band, you have to look at it as an even shelf, and if you boost and cut the bass and treble, then you actually create more of a scoop. But if you bring it back down, then you're starting to emphasize the rest of the mid spectrum. When you add a 3-band or a 4-band, you're actually bringing that midpoints to right there, and you're able to boost and cut just that frequency arc. You're not able to actually create a smooth transition through the mid. So that's why sometimes, you know, people struggle with almost too much control, but they think they have more control or need more control. Yeah, so the point is that a 3-band does not give you more control than a 2-band does. They are just different animals, and sometimes it's better to learn how to work with a bass and treble and figure out how to emphasize your mid-range through whether it's your playing, through it's actually cutting EQ, which a lot of guys are afraid to cut, even though the pots always are boost or cut. You might actually cut your EQ to emphasize your mid, because if you do add that mid control, you're actually centering that frequency, and you're no longer able to get an even mid-range response. I do want to say the reason that I use the 2 to 3 band control is that I have a lot of players that do a lot of slapping, as well as a lot of players that do fingerstyle playing, and don't do slapping so much. But when they want to transition, it is easier for a lot of guys to have their bass and treble boosted a little bit so that they get the fat bottom end and the clear, crisp highs, which mine has are fairly airy in the treble side, so it's not harsh to the ear like sometimes your trebles are. But anyway, so they can actually have their mid boosted, and when they flip the mid, it throws the mid in the control so that they can get a little bit more bark in the fingerstyle. And so it's not a slap contour, but it's kind of a slap contour. It can be used as that. But then again, it's just it's one of those things. I mean, depending on your rig, you know, your cabinet, your amp, what you're plugging into, the strings you're using, you know, they all have variables to them that will actually help or hinder the instrument. And you might find yourself needing, you know, mid, and so it's there, or you might find yourself that you're wanting to scoop the mid, depending on the style of music you're playing. So anyway, I hope that helps. And